Mute yourself. Does anyone have a question?
Stuart, I have a question, Bob Sink. I know a lot of my friends have been reporting how exhausted that they feel. And I'm feeling that as well during the day.
You're feeling exhaustion?
Exhausted, very tired. How can I rally the energy during the day to increase my energy level so I can really function?
Well, first of all, I wouldn't fight the tiredness. I wouldn't fight it, because when you fight it, you're using up a lot of energy, that'll make you even more tired. I mean, try and take a nap. Nothing to feel guilty about, just lying down, closing your eyes, and getting 20 minutes, a half hour sleep. Let it refresh you. Sometimes these answers are very practical, and we beat ourselves up because we feel tired, we feel exhausted, we try to generate energy where there is none. Your body, your mind, your whole inner being is telling you you're tired. So take a nap. It doesn't, whatever you're doing, you can wait 20 minutes. I mean that. It can wait 20 minutes. It's not going to go away in 20 minutes, a half hour. Meanwhile, you'll get up and you'll feel refreshed. I mean, I get exhausted during the day. I have a hard time napping during the day, but I do get exhausted. And I'll sometimes just lie down and, read the news and, whatever, I just refresh myself that way. As I just said, whatever you're doing, whatever business, whatever people, social engagement, it can wait 20 minutes. Because frankly, under an exhausted condition, you're not going to be able to do them anyway. So you're going to sit there looking at the computer and staring at it and fighting with yourself and yelling at yourself that you shouldn't be exhausted. I mean, the day eats up a lot of energy. People have all kinds of activities they have to do and required to do every day. It eats up a lot of energy. And in these classes, you're supposed to renew the energy, rebuild your system, refresh yourself. And, and it does. I know I can often come to these classes and feel like, how the hell am I going to get through this? And by the end of the class, I feel like I'm 20 years old. I feel like my whole energy has been refreshed, reborn. So there are a lot of ways, but I think the worst thing to do is to beat yourself up and yell at yourself and, why am I tired? Why am I exhausted? I mean, well, shit, you're tired. Rest. Lie down and take a nap. It'll be okay. The world will continue. You'll continue. And the things you have to do in your life will continue. You'll just be able to do them with a much fresher approach. I mean, for example, I'm writing this book, about Tantra, and I'm on number 95. I just finished 95, which to me is totally amazing, to have done this. But anyway, halfway through each one of these, I get exhausted. And I don't try to force myself into creativity. I just go and rest. I do something else. There are other things I have to do. I do them. And sometimes having different projects to do, you can go from one project to another project and you can refresh yourself. and go back to the original project with fresh eyes. And that works too. It really having a number of things that you're involved in that you're doing. Each one is different, requires opening a different part of yourself. I mean, I do that, especially when I write these books. They're so intense. You know, writing them is really a lot of work. And I know I can't sometimes even get through a couple of sentences without taking a little break. And when I was younger, I used to scream at myself. If they said, wow, you got to do it now. I became kind of insane with it, you know, and then I finally said, the hell with it, you know. It'll come if I do it intelligently. So I've always had, you know, a number of projects going that I can turn to, and each one of them supports the other, refreshes the other. So there's a lot of things you can do. And the worst thing you can do is feel guilty about being tired or being exhausted. Does anyone else have a question?
Hi, Stuart.
Hmm?
Talking about the same topic. In my case, it's all the contrary. I feel like so high on energy, and I do a lot of things, but it's still midnight, and I still have a lot of energy, and that's the reason I sleep like really late. So my questions is all the way around. How can I relax so I can sleep early? Because I really have a lot of energy, and it's midnight, and I feel like I don't want to sleep.
Aileen, when you get centered in yourself, when you build a chakra system that's connected with spirit, the things that could take you days, months to do, you can do in minutes. You're centered, you're balanced inside, the energy is clear, you know, and you have the creative capacity literally to do things in minutes. I mean, I can do things now, literally, sometimes in seconds that it used to take me days to do, months sometimes. So it's a matter of developing a system inside that is capable of channeling all that energy and not allowing all that energy to take over. You use it consciously. And every time you use that energy, it produces something interesting and wonderful in your life. And it doesn't require, you know, huffing and puffing and and jumping from it just requires maturity, depth, where you can literally in seconds do what used to take years to do. I mean, I remember I was in my teacher's gallery. This was a great lesson for me. And, you know, his mother was there, and my teacher, Rudy, was there. And his mother was waiting on a customer. And she went on for an hour trying to sell something for $50. You know, and Rudy got very upset after she was finished, and she said, you know, it takes less effort to sell something for $10,000 than it does to sell something for $50. If you channel your energy and you use your energy consciously. And when I was in the art business years ago, I learned that. I mean, some of the easiest sales I ever made were huge numbers. I mean, talking huge numbers. Dealing with people who knew what I didn't have to sell them. They knew what it was, and it was whether they wanted it or not. And it was basically a social meeting of, you know, having a couple of drinks and talking and a cup of tea, and I'll take it. And this was something for me when I was younger that was inconceivable. It was inconceivable. But it became possible because I grew in myself to the point where that was possible without wasting an entire day trying to do it. So it's development of a chakra system. It's being centered and balanced in yourself, not only during meditation class, but building a system in meditation class so that you can live that way. And then your capacity as a human being gets much bigger. How you function, the choices you make, how you interact, the economics of your life grows. Relationships and friendships get better. So it's building that kind of inner life. And I mean this. And I'm not talking because I read this somewhere in a book. I'm talking because this is what happened to me over years of working on myself and building that kind of inner life. Even from an economic point of view, when I started out in business, I was selling $10 items and $20 items. You know, and 20 years later, I'm selling things to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, to the British Museum, to the Guimet in Paris. I mean, it was unbelievable. It took no more energy to do that than to sell a $10 rusty wrench to some collector of rusty wrenches. And this is true. I mean, it all depends on your capacity within yourself. Have you built a system that is capable of dealing on every level without allowing yourself to go off balance? And it takes time, it takes energy, it takes maturity and growth in yourself. And then, you know, you'll sleep. You'll go to sleep earlier. You're not going to be buzzing all the time. You know, and it's amazing what you do. I mean, look, I look at this book I've written 95 of these short essays in the last 3 months. Now, this to me is extraordinary. Extraordinary. How did I do that? It just comes through. And I relax into it. I let it happen. I don't make it happen. I've built a system in myself that is capable of doing this. And everyone here in this class has a system inside that can enable them to do things like that. It has to be developed. That's what I'm here to teach you all, how to develop this kind of capacity. And I don't mean to become a trillionaire. You know, I mean, I just to be able to live and take advantage of all of the things that life presents to us, all the wonderful things that life can give us. And that includes relationships and money and success in life without allowing these things to destroy one, you know? And it just grows inside what your capacity is to do. So if you build that kind of system, Alien, what I'm talking about is going to start taking place. I mean, look, meditation is not just about the meditation room. As I've said a million times, the spiritual life is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. What you do in the meditation room is build a system inside that enables you to have a spiritual life. And a spiritual life is taking care of karma on every level. Whatever you have to deal with, you are capable of being centered, balanced, and you can deal with it. And you don't become obsessed by anything except being with God. It's the only obsession that makes any sense. And all the rest of it is just learning step by step how to grow closer to your spiritual enlightenment, how to be successful and get detached from your success, not have the success have you. I hope this is clear. These are just very basic things, but it's the bridge between this meditation class and the rest of one's life. And the meditation class is what? It's 4 hours a week we do this. Then there's the rest of life. And we have to create a bridge that we bring the system we build and cross that bridge into the rest of our life. And I'll say it once again, I'm not talking from having read about this stuff in books. I mean, nobody talks about this stuff in books, except me. I talk about this stuff in my books, but nobody really does, you know? I mean, they talk about chakras and, you know, all the esoteric stuff they talk about. But then there's the basic living, turning life into the temple, making life sacred. Life gets sacred when we are centered, we're balanced, we're open, the heart is open, there's love inside us, we're happy people inside, we live with compassion, life becomes sacred. But that has to be developed. It's not something you turn on a light and suddenly you're an enlightened being. You know, it doesn't work that way. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Hi, Stuart. I have a question. What if I feel sleepy during meditation?
Huh?
What if I feel sleepy during meditation? What should I do?
Well, because you're tired.
Really?
That's it. It's no more complicated than that. But you know, there's another element to this. Zhao Yan, right? I have a hard time pronouncing your name, Zhao Yan. There's another element to this. Usually when you feel that kind of tiredness, it's a signal that you are ready to take a step in your life. And it's not really tiredness, it's just resistance. It's a way of keeping yourself, of taking the next step in your inner work. And often we get tired, and you know, and I always kid around. If I scream fire, everyone in the room would get up and have adrenaline to run out of the room. There would be so much adrenaline, and your spiritual life can be that kind of adrenaline. And having that kind of inner adrenaline will take you to a whole new level in your life. You'll learn how to work through the tiredness to another place inside yourself that is more open, more conscious, more developed. So there's two things, you know, one, frankly, you're tired. The second thing is that it's often just resistance to taking the next step. So just, just go a little deeper, kind of trick yourself. You'll wake yourself up and you'll find out that there's a whole new dimension that you're ready to open to. And the tiredness is just resistance to doing it. Does anyone else have a question? Look, I've been tired for 35 years now. And I can't remember a day when I haven't been tired. And well, what you do? The tired goes here, and you do your life. Okay, if there are no more questions, and there'll be meditation on Sunday, and God bless you all. Thank you. And again, I repeat it over, you must be tired of hearing it. You know, I'm here to learn and I'm here to grow. Every one of you is a teacher for me, and God bless you all, you know, for being in the classes and participating in what we do here. So God bless you all, and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone on Sunday.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you, Stuart. Good
Thank
night.
you.
Mm.
Thank